Everyone, how you doing? Pretty early this morning. Got up at 4:30. Going to be an exciting day. I got to head down to Fresno, go see a couple of projects, look at a property or two, but more importantly, really start to meet the folks at the hub and create some action plans. I'm going to start off the day by meeting with EVC Homes, who were one of the great flippers who create just these luxury homes, kind of at the entry level most of the time. So pretty fun. I'm gonna go see them, see how we can help. Then gonna meet with Michael Hernandez, who is an agent in the office, and really try to create a plan to have him be a conduit between out of area investors and Fresno. A lot of you watching this are researching Fresno now, and I want to make sure Michael's a resource for you. Then going to be meeting with a young entrepreneur who does some project management. It's doing some lead generation for me. So we're gonna see how we can ramp that up. And then finally, gonna buy some furniture and fill up my office. So it's a spot that I am proud to call my own, and invite more and more of you to kind of come down and check it out. The final big piece of the hub, the project that I'm running in Fresno, goes in I think this weekend, which is going to be some fake grass, so I can save on some water because it gets so hot in Fresno. But in the end, let's get to the financial notes of the day. And as the kind of title indicated, we're still on a positive path, right? It looks like something that I pointed out last Friday. I think looks like it's coming together. Looks like there's a Brexit deal on the table that both sides, the EU and the UK, are tweeting about, and one is calling it a great new Brexit deal, and then the other is calling it fair and balanced. Like the first trade war kind of break in the positive direction, this is now collaborated by both sides, which is important. I guess we'll just move to the trade war since we're kind of on that track. It looks like for the first time I've seen a date for when the trial phase or phase one is set to go. It was looking to be written over the next 3 weeks, which I'll say week one is done. People are gonna increasingly call BS on this if we don't see something soon. However, we haven't seen any kind of tit for tat stuff going on in the news, so maybe I think there might be some really honest effort to get something done. That said, it's pretty clear that the only way to a full agreement is both sides drop all tariffs, which is still some work to be done. So we'll see what's going on there. And then lastly, again continuing on a good trend, is it looks like the GM UAW strike might be coming to an end, as a deal seems to have been struck that now needs to be evaluated by the I think the full UAW organization. So pretty pretty good set of news, and to read some of the articles about the people on strike, it's just like I thought. I thought the longer this went on, the more strength the GM have. Yes, they've lost $2 billion in this time, but they'll likely make at least a portion of that up. Um, as it's been about a month or so. So it's again, those three things all seem to still be trending in a positive direction 1 week later. None resolved yet, although I think the UAW GM strike could be over by the weekend, so that would be awesome. A couple other things I have noted. First off, Morgan Stanley completes the big four banks and beat expectations handily. You would have thought, being a bank in this environment with low interest rates was tough. Three out of the four said, not for us, with beating pretty handily. So, um, interesting times. Another thing we've seen is another report that says the quote unquote wealthy are in cash more than they've been historically. In this case, I frankly can't believe this number because it is just so big, but it seems that the wealthy, and again, this article didn't define wealthy, but they have 27.1% of their net worth in cash. That just seems that just doesn't seem right. right? Because if you have a lot of real estate and these kinds of things, to think that you have a quarter of your equity in cash, that just doesn't feel right. But I can only report what I read. And needless to say, I think it is true that the wealthy are in more cash than they were a year ago. I think that is a factual statement. But 27.1, I think what they may have done is they have their trading accounts are 27.1% cash, which is very different than net worth. But we'll see. I guess it really doesn't matter. They're in more cash than they've been in the past. And then the last thing I noted is the millennials. I think it's like, I forget the age group. I should have written it down. Whatever a millennial is, it's like 23 to 38 these days. But it looks like there is already 600,000 of them, again, according to CNBC, that are millionaires on paper, right? That's net worth of over $1 million. And I find this odd because the millennials get beaten up in the press all the time, right? And frankly, some of it's true. But each generation has its own thing, right? So let's not pretend like we, Generation X or baby boomers, didn't do stupid things. But they are, there's a couple things about them, as you break down the article. First and foremost, they own more real estate. Again, the 600,000 of them, right? Not all millennials, but the 600,000 of them own more real estate than past generations at this age. Which I thought was interesting because a lot of the millennials that we hear about, they don't want to buy a home. So maybe they're renting where they live, but they are buying investment properties, which I thought was interesting. It also cited that they were more likely to invest in real estate as a form of long-term wealth generation, which I thought was interesting. The last thing is it seems like 60%. So quick math says 60% of 600,000 is 360,000 of them live in 2 states. And I bet you can guess them. One is California and the other is New York. So it seems like a lion's share of these millionaire millennials probably got that way on tech or finance. But they're frankly, their frugal lifestyle is rewarding, right? They aren't picking up the extra cars and silliness that the Generation X, and that's where I fall, did. I remember at that age, it was all about which whip or car you could buy, and alarms and stereo systems and just silly things. So they are they're saving more, they're investing strategically, and it's going pretty well for them. So in the end, that's today's market update. I wanted to make sure I recorded this, got up extra early for you. Now I'm going to shut down and get on the road and start an exciting day of setting up some meetings at the hub in Fresno so that we can help and serve more and more of you. All right, everybody, have a great day. Thanks.